Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast.
We're back, you guys. We're back on the sofa, and we have had a rough start. Bandit, our dog, has been...
say that every single start.
Okay, but Bandit has been puking on our
podcast.
Yes.
So first of all, Bandit, why did I almost say stomach biled? He had a little situation literally right next to the most important cords in our setup.
Yes.
And
yesterday, we didn't even mention that we tried to do this yesterday with so many tech difficulties that we didn't even record the podcast.
And what you don't know is I wore this outfit all day yesterday, hoping that we would film at some point, and we just never did. And so I threw it back on today, and today is the day.
Are you still feeling like a Duggar?
So the thing that's making me feel like the Duggar is like the hair skirt combo.
It's the long skirt combo, but
I feel like a Duggar wouldn't
an
wear
animal print skirt.
Yeah, cheetah skirt. But if they would, like,
I also love the Duggars. And fun fact, someday on the podcast, Emmy and Ellie will have to recite for you all of their names from watching the show when they were young, because she can.
Okay.
So welcome back to the podcast.
Wait, I have a fun fact also.
Okay, go ahead.
About the Duggars.
Yeah,
I've actually met almost all of the Duggars before.
Tell them where.
I went on a field trip with my school to the Creation Museum, and like this was the time where we watched the Duggars. And if you say you didn't watch the Duggars, that's fine, but
lying.
like it was also very entertaining. Like,
yeah.
It was funny, okay? Looking back, like, they were problematic, I think, but as a child, like, I didn't, think too deeply into all that. But anyway, we met every single one. Like, they were taking up basically the whole Creation There Museum. Are so many Duggars, okay?
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway, I'm
go.
channeling my inner fangirl today.
Yes. And we're going to talk about sleep, you guys. And here's the crazy thing. We're going to talk about sleep. We're going to talk about sleep in perimenopause, which I think lots of our women will enjoy. But I think it's crazy that we're about to talk about sleep when you and I are just coming off of
like
not
I
so
need
good
more
sleep. Yeah. So Emmy and I left Sunday morning. We got up at 3 a.m., went to the Knoxville airport, flew to Pittsburgh to see Ellie off to New York City and drive her car back home. So we've had a couple of days of not great sleep.
You know what's crazy, and I haven't even told you this, is the night before, the night before, the sleep I had before I had the sleep where we woke up at 3 a.m. Me and my friends, we went to this place called Tremont, and it's right near our house. And we had so much fun together that everyone came back, and we sat on the porch until 3 a.m. talking the night before. Wow. And so I had went to bed at 3 that night, and then I woke up the same time that I went to bed the night before. Wow. So
yeah, we've had a rough few days. Well. And listen, here's my history with sleep, everyone. I always thought I just didn't need much sleep, so I never valued sleep. So I've always been a person who would go to bed early, but also when I was in medical school, I would get up at 3 a.m. and study, or, sometimes stay up and study. And then when I was in residency, you're up all night. And I don't know, I just came to believe that I was a person who didn't need much sleep. I can get 4 hours of sleep and I'm fine. And when I started to when I started to have adrenal issues and just inflammation issues and just started to not do well with my health, and started digging into things that are important to make you healthy, sleep, of course, is at the top of the list. And then I read a book maybe 4 years ago, whenever it first came out, by Matthew West, called Why We Sleep. If you haven't read that book, you guys, so convicting. Sleep is so important. And one of the statistics that stuck with me in that book was that even getting 6 hours on average per night, which I used to think that's great if I get 6 hours.
That's enough.
Even doing that for, an extended amount of time will reduce your lifespan by 6 years.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that book is fantastic. And then I started into tracking. I wore a Whoop strap for a while and then started wearing an Oura ring. And let's just talk about, Emily May, since you've been wearing your Oura ring, how much are we obsessed with sleep now?
I am very obsessed with it, and sometimes it's kind of annoying, and I'll just let it die so that I don't like
Because if you know you're doing bad, you're like, let's let it die, and we can't track it.
and then I won't know.
Yeah.
But I have become much more aware. Even the nights that I felt like, oh yeah, like I got good sleep, like I would wake up and feel fine. I look back at those sleeps and I was not sleeping good. Like my Oura ring would be like, no girl, like you had caffeine like 15 minutes
No,
before
girl, you're
bed.
not
Like
okay.
your heart rate is elevated. Like things that I would have never thought of. I would have thought I had a good night of sleep and
Yeah.
I actually didn't. But sometimes I will think that I didn't have a good night of sleep and it will actually not be bad. But it has made me a lot more aware of how much I'm sleeping and like feeling so tired the next day. It's like, of course, like you did not get enough sleep at all.
And the quality of your sleep, like how much time you spend in deep sleep, how much time you spend in REM sleep. And it's interesting because you girls were just at the Young Living Convention, and all of the teachings, all of the science at the convention was all about sleep, most of which I think I knew because I had read Matthew's book, but it was super fascinating and kind of just reminded me how important it is. And some of the stuff that they were going over that you guys probably watched live, but I watched some recordings of, was, of course, the stages of sleep. But when you get into deep sleep, how your brain is really detoxing and the lymphatic system in your brain, which is called, I think, the glymphatic system in your brain.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
He was showing like a chart.
Yeah.
I can't really.
Of how the blood pumps and how it pumps out during deep sleep, how it's pumping out the toxins. And that if you're not going, not just if you're not sleeping, but if you're not going through the proper stages of sleep and getting into deep sleep, that what your brain could have detoxed, the things that you're exposed to, the toxins you're exposed to, and just the metabolites that you're producing just from living every day. If you're not detoxing those every night, there's really no makeup system for that. There's no like, oh, well, I'm going to sleep, double the amount the next night, because what happens is the amount of deep sleep you're getting is probably not that much more. So you're just doing basically you're losing the ability to detox what you could have from that day. And those, over time, a lot of those toxins will build up deposits and build up, like toxic material that then can result in all kinds of things, dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what type of things would you be detoxing in your sleep from the day?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, like, exact molecules, but I think it's a combination of pollutants you would be exposed to, the metabolites of things that cross the blood-brain barrier, like if you're taking medications that cross the blood-brain barrier, metabolites of everyday living, like there are things that we need to get rid of in our bodies every day that we produce that if they stay in the body can harm us. We need to get rid of those metabolites, free radicals and things that are just a process of metabolism. So I think it's all kinds of things like that. And sleep is such an active process. You think to yourself, this isn't that important. I'm just, going to sleep. But if you think about it, it's literally a third of your life.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it too, like God wouldn't have made our bodies to need that if it wasn't necessary every day.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason you have to sleep every single night.
Yeah.
It's not like.
And the effects, like one of the things in, not that book, but can you tell I'm obsessed with reading health books? So I read a book last year called Breathe, or maybe 2 years ago, and it was talking about mouth breathing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about that.
So that this guy basically did an experiment where they like plugged his nose and he was only able to breathe through his mouth for like 2 weeks. And the crazy stuff that happened to him, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, like you cannot believe the changes in his blood and the changes in his health in 2 weeks
just from breathing.
mouth breathing. And so one of the things that I learned when I was studying about sleep is that so many of us are breathing through our mouths, and it's so not good for us. And so I went on this kick where I was taping my mouth at night, trying to train myself.
That actually scares me because I saw a video of one girl and she had tape over her mouth, and I guess she couldn't breathe really good through her nose. And so she literally was like the tape was like trying not to break through, and it freaked me out so much because that actually gives me anxiety. The fact that
you would definitely
wake
yeah.
up. But
still, I do think, so that was a few years ago, and I wore mouth tape for long enough that I basically trained myself to breathe through my nose. This is also, side conversation, when I got into all the mewing and resting keeping your mouth closed and, resting your tongue at the roof of your palate.
She's being so serious about the mewing,
I'm being so serious. So I got into that, reading about that, and literally, you guys, though, I think that training myself to breathe through my nose during sleep and otherwise has literally changed the structure of my face.
I mean, me and Katie the other day, because Katie looks at a lot of pictures of Mom all the time because that's her job.
She does our marketing.
Yeah, she does the marketing. And so, it's the same thing as when you're watching someone grow up. Like, if you're with them every day or all the time, you don't really notice, someone changing.
Yeah.
But then when you look back at pictures of Mom, even from a couple years ago.
3 years ago.
Your face actually looks different. And me and Katie were like, okay,
we got to ask her.
Be so honest. You can tell us, what did you do?
Did you have something done?
Did you have some surgery?
I was like,
you look so different. From 2 years ago. Or 3, maybe.
Well, and it's funny because I was laughing so hard because I was like, okay, I'm going to have to tell them all of these weird things that I'm into, and they're not going to believe me.
She was like, okay, I literally haven't, but this is what I've been doing.
This is what I've been doing. I've been mewing.
She was showing me all of these, I've literally done it almost every night, by the way. After you said that, I was like, say less. I've been trying to get my chin.
So you have to come watch on YouTube, but I do these face, would you call it face exercises? I don't know. Face something
it's
where you take your fingers.
If you've seen on TikTok, people using a gua sha.
It's
a gua sha with your fingers.
It is, with your hands. Yeah. So I've been doing that, and I've been doing the mewing, breathing through the mouth,
so
resting.
The mewing is you take your tongue, and push it against the roof of your mouth. Kinda.
Yes.
I've been doing that too.
By the way, we're going to get, you guys, we're coming back. But I know you girls listen to the podcast Skinny Confidential. Guess who she had on today?
Who?
The girl who I learned this from.
Lauren's obsessed with mouth tape.
She's on her podcast today.
I might have to order mouth tape, but it's always scared me because I had that nose surgery in December because I have a deviated septum, and long story, but I don't think necessarily
it worked.
Because I, still having problems.
My nose.
So it actually does scare me to wear mouth tape because I'm like, literally, what if I stop breathing? But you know what? I think I'm going to
tape it loosely, Emily.
A loose tape.
Anyway. So all of that to say, I have fallen down a rabbit hole of all of these things, and I really think it has made a big difference. And once I look at all the studies and the science behind it, I'm like, of course it makes a difference because we were made to breathe through our nose. When you breathe through your nose, you filter out a lot of toxins. You release nitric oxide. There's a lot of good benefits for breathing through your nose. And learning to do that while you sleep, really, really important. So I was thinking about when I started really having trouble sleeping is probably perimenopause. I don't know, 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago when I started having trouble, waking up a lot at night. And when I got my Oura Ring and my Whoop strap, the stuff that I've been doing, I can look at data now from the past 4 years. Mm-hmm. And the more things that I learn, that I implement, the healthier I get. You can just watch all my numbers over the past 4 years get better in every area. And I just know that this stuff is important. And I think it is way more important than we like to believe. And I think it is worth taking steps to make sure you're sleeping better. We're going to talk about some of the practical things that that I like to do or that, have helped other people. But before we get into that, I want to say too that I think one of the big things that has been super, super helpful is getting outside a lot. And because I work from home, only in the last, I would say, year and a half, 2 years, have I really prioritized outside as much as I have. And that, I think it's for a couple of reasons. I think it's because we're meant to be outside. I think all of this artificial light, it keeps us up at night. We're exposed to all these screens. It's all of that. Also, getting sunlight in your eyes early in the morning. They say that looking at the horizon will help reset your circadian rhythm. But not just that, but I just think being outside, getting more exercise outside, doing a lot more walking outside, I think that has probably helped my sleep as much as anything else, although I love all the other things that I like to try to do too. But I think getting outside really, really helps.
Well, I was going to say too, because I really noticed this, especially the last few weeks. Like, I have been traveling so much. I feel like basically I've been home for 2 days, then gone for a week, and home for a day, then gone for a week. And I finally had like a full week home. And even when I'm not doing much during the day, like, it makes sense, obviously, but when you're kind of sitting around all day or you don't prioritize getting up and, like, doing something active, you know those days when you were a kid where literally it's like you would go to school, you would literally have your extracurricular activities. I always was doing dance.
Yeah.
Then you come home, you have homework, and then by the time you get in bed, it's like you're dead tired because you have spent the whole day like active all day.
Yeah.
And I think just when I've been traveling, you think traveling you're moving so much more, but really I feel like I've kind of been a lot more sedentary. My Oura Ring, hold on, I've got to read this to you. This is so humbling.
The Oura Ring is hilarious on the stuff it tells you too. How it tries to tell you.
No, this is actually so humbling, and you can never say I've never been vulnerable on here. Okay.
Tell us your Oura Ring stats.
It literally sent me a alert.
Wow.
And it said pattern detected. This is so embarrassing.
Wow.
Your inactive time has gone up over the past 7 days and is high compared to your baseline. It's okay. Everyone goes through stretches like this. Keep in mind that even short pauses to get water or move your muscles a bit can help reverse this trend. Yeah, girl, just get up and get some water every once in a while. Even just trips to get some water would help you. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I was like, all right, let's go for a walk.
Yeah, that activity does really matter.
That's kind of rude.
And I'm going to tell you something. The stats about like what happens to your body when you're not sleeping well and missing a lot of sleep are crazy. Like, one night of missed sleep puts you into a pre-diabetic state. One night. Yeah. Makes you more anxious, makes you more stressed, makes you more irritable, affects your concentration, your memory, and all of this. And it's funny because when I was in residency and we would be without sleep.
You're like staying up all night studying, trying to cram.
Yeah. Or like at that point we were working in the hospital. So you're up all night working in the hospital. The next morning, and you think about this, when you have had a terrible night's sleep, what do you crave? The worst food. Mm-hmm. I would be like, let me get some biscuits and gravy, and let me get some, follow that up with whatever, a donut.
Yeah.
But you crave the worst food, and you do that because it's literally physiologic that the lack of sleep does that to you.
Yeah, that's insane.
It changes your hormones in such a way that you're craving junk food. All you want is carbs, and your insulin level is high, your cortisol level is high. And, so imagine living like that, for a long, over a period of time. It's definitely a huge contributor to, the things that are wrong with us.
Because, like, for a period of time, even, like, moms or people who have just had a baby or something like that, like, it's almost impossible to get good amount of sleep.
Yeah.
In periods like that, like, are you able to...
And thank goodness you're young then. Yeah. And I think you do recover from that. And those tend to be like seasons, of life. But even then, doing all the things that you can do to maximize that, and to help yourself recover and do the best you can.
Yeah, it literally makes me shiver to think back on, like, my junior year of college. in the way, I mean, in so many other ways, I was treating my body horribly. But also, like, how late I would stay up and then sleep in.
Yeah.
And then feel literally horrible every single day.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh, it's worth it because we're having so much fun. Like, we're having so much fun. But, like, wow, no wonder I felt horrible.
Yeah.
Like, sleep alone. You don't add anything else.
And never mind, like, the things that affect sleep, like alcohol, caffeine.
I'm glad I did not have an Oura ring then because
Do not want to know.
Yeah, it would basically tell me I was dead every day.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think really starting to pay attention to this can make a huge improvement in your health. And it's also like, I have just gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, I love to sleep. Whereas I used to say, oh, this is such a waste of time. I could get so much more done if I didn't have to sleep. Like, I remember that being my mindset. Like, why do we have to sleep? Like, I could get so much done. And now my mindset is, I think I said this to Katie last night. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go to bed. And I think if you are active and work hard and do your, have a really good productive day, there's something about giving yourself the luxury of a really good night's sleep and looking forward to it and making, we'll talk about this in a minute, but like making even your room a place where, you really love to go. Your bed is comfortable. Your sheets are comfortable,
Yes.
Like all of that kind of stuff where it's something that you look forward to instead of something that I used to think, oh, we just have to tolerate this sleep thing.
Yeah, I've never felt like that, but
That's good. That's good. I'm learning to enjoy it so much more. But and as a matter of fact, I'm now so obsessed with it that if I'm like booking travel or something, I'm paying attention. Is that going to make me have to get up? I mean, we couldn't help it this last Sunday, but usually if I have the choice, I'm trying to travel when I
It's
don't
like
have
part
to
of
get up
your
at 3
schedule,
a.m. I
kind
don't
of.
have to stay up till midnight,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I do think, if you think about circadian rhythm, we were sort of, put here on this earth where we have natural lighting, and then that light goes down.
yes, it literally follows the pattern of
And
what
then-
you should do.
Yes, and when that light goes down, probably so should yours. And I hear people talking about this now, and I feel like I kind of do this naturally. But they say that it really helps if, like, even in your house, as it starts to get later in the evening, to turn more ambient light on, to have low-level lamps on, so that you can sort of ease your body into, it's getting darker, it's time to sort
What
of...
would you say to people? Because I've
transition.
even talked to like full-grown adults that say like, I am just a night person. Like, I don't want to go to bed at night. I am like, I can't wake up in the mornings. I'm just made to be a night person, and I just sleep in and I stay up later and get more stuff done.
I definitely know people where I do think it feels more natural in their body to do that. And if you have a job or a lifestyle where you can do that and it feels good to you and it's not affecting your health, I think that's great. I do think that, of course, our society is kind of set up where you got to go to school in the morning, you got to go to work in the morning, for most people. So I think you might as well train yourself to that if that's the life that you're living.
Yeah.
And I know Tom will say this all the time to me. You make me go to bed so early. It's funny because I do. I make him go to bed usually around 8:30. He's 11 years old, acting like he's 55.
But honestly, I think a lot of people his age, even now,
Teenagers need a lot of sleep.
yeah, but they go to bed late.
But they go to bed late. And here's what I will say. He has to get up, around 6:30. He still struggles to get up.
Oh, yeah.
So what time would he have to go to bed for him to naturally, like, I'm going, should we push that back to 8? Because I do want him to get plenty of sleep. They talk about even, was it 20 more minutes of sleep? There's a certain number of minutes in the study that they did meant the difference between kids getting B's and A's.
Whoa.
Just that much more sleep
That's kind of crazy.
made that much difference. And, so, it's something that I think it's worth all of us trying to make a routine or some kind of effort to do better. Because if you think about all the things that contribute to you feeling your best, living longer, being able to have all the energy you want to contribute your gifts, it feels like sleep's kind of the easiest one to
Yeah.
dial in. You're just laying there, right?
And it seems like I know my roommate Kylie, like she's one of those people. She is just a night owl. Like naturally, her body, she would stay up.
Yeah.
But it's like, really, if you're trying to train yourself and you live in a world, which most of us do, where you work early and you have a lot to do during the day, like there's not really many worlds where you can wake up at 6 a.m., go during the day, go to the gym, like, and not be tired when you really need to go to bed. Like, for the most part, if you are doing the things during the day, getting a lot of steps and whatever.
Yeah.
By the
Lifting some
end of
heavy
the day,
weights, doing
like,
your work.
Even if you want to stay
Connecting
up
with your
late,
family.
like, it's hard to, make your body stay up, especially when you have things that can help you go to bed. But I'm just saying, like, I think anyone, if you want to feel better during a day, like, sleep is probably the most important thing.
Yeah. It's funny because Dr. Ollie, that was presenting at giving the talks at convention, was talking about, if you don't sleep, you die. Like, how long can you go without sleeping? Not
long.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things, like air, like water, that your body
it sounds
has
so
to
simple,
have.
but like, it should tell you something that you really can't go longer than if you see someone and they've been up for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
They
do
appear
not
to be
look
drunk.
well. They're not acting right. Like, they're not acting well. And then the next 3 days, they're like, trying to feel better. That should tell you something, like how important it is.
Yeah.
Like, it literally changes you so much.
Yeah. So as we think about it, so I kind of wanted to go through some of the things that I have done in perimenopause to really help myself get so much better sleep than I think I've maybe ever gotten in my life. Again, I spent most of my life dismissing it. Like, I don't need that. I mean, I remember, you guys, when I was writing my book, I would wake up at 3:30 or 4 every morning.
That's actually insane.
It's insane. And
would you set your alarm, or you?
Right. I would usually just wake up. I've never really needed an alarm unless I'm going to the airport or something where, and I usually still wake up before it goes off. But I would get up and write for 2 or 3 hours in the morning. I did that when I was writing the Life Mentoring School curriculum too. And I think back to that and go, girl, get some sleep.
Like, it will actually help you write.
It'll help you write better if you get some sleep.
Well,
and I still love the early mornings, but my days of getting up at 3:30 or 4 are
it makes me
gone.
think of what you have been talking about a lot lately, that 10X book.
Yes.
Because you were saying how in the book it kind of talks about, like, when you're really doing what you're passionate about or something you're really good at, which for you, writing.
Yeah.
Like, you can usually, if you are pouring yourself into that, get a lot more done in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
So at that time, you probably could have, like, if you're sleeping longer, the time it takes you to write what you were writing in those 2 hours would probably be short enough where you don't have to wake up at 3:30.
Yeah, because you'd be fresher, you'd be focused, you'd be,
You just have a great night's sleep, which helps your, like...
And I also just want to give myself a little bit of props, too, because this is how my brain works. And when my brain gets on fire like that...
Same.
Just watch out, people. I mean, Emmy spent 7 hours on Canva yesterday. So you can't
I don't know if
either.
that's more, like... I don't know how good that is, but it's fine.
Well, what I'm saying is that I don't mind for seasons or periods of life if my brain is on fire and I got to get something out. Like, sometimes I do go through that where I just wake up early and I'm excited to start working on whatever project I'm working on. But I think I would do it definitely a little smarter than I've done it in the past. So some things that I think could help us women who are this age, and then you can chime in for anything that you like or that you do. You don't struggle with it nearly as much as I have.
Yeah, not
yet in your life.
It's definitely, I have noticed though, like in college, even doing all that, like, did not struggle sleeping. Like, once I was asleep, I was asleep. It's not like I was tossing and turning really, and I never struggled with that. But I will say, like, the older I get, the more I notice, like, my actual sleep is sometimes not as good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still very good.
Yeah.
But I have noticed it go a little bit.
That
like,
a little
as I
different.
get older, it's different.
Yeah. Yeah, and just wait till you get 54.
Yeah, I'm scared.
So a few of the things that we already mentioned, but lifting heavy weights, spending your body in some way, getting a good long walk, being active throughout the day, I think is so the key. Get outside as much as you can. Get the sun on your skin. Get the sun in your eyes. Stop wearing sunglasses. You need sun in your eyes for you to register. Like, okay, it's daylight.
Daytime.
It sends signals to your brain, whatever. And then as you get close to nighttime, ambient light, turn the lamps on, turn all those overhead lights off. I don't like those anyways. But you kind of want to create an atmosphere where you start to help your body kind of wind down.
Is natural.
And even taking like a sunset walk. I love that too, because the sunset, the difference in the way the sun looks in the morning and the sun looks in the afternoon, that sunset will help your circadian rhythm as well. And so that's, I think, a great place to start. Of course, eating good nutritional food, whole food, enough protein. Like one thing that I have to be careful about myself is that I don't do well if I go to bed hungry. I will tend to wake up. Mm-hmm. And so I just have to make sure that, if I want to have a snack before bed, or we were talking about our obsession with peanut butter or whatever, whatever you feel like would be a decently healthy snack.
Yeah, if I'm hungry before bed, I cannot fall asleep fast at all. That's all I can think about.
And you don't want to eat right before bed either. But I'm just saying, for me, I just need to make sure that I'm not going to bed feeling, hungry. That I do sleep better there. And then a few of the things that I do is every night I take a hot bath.
You are religious about that hot bath.
Love a hot bath.
It doesn't matter who's here.
It doesn't matter who's here.
She's
Bye, y'all.
out.
Peace out. I'm going to take my hot bath. You guys, I can't even tell you how much it helps me sleep, though. I believe that for sure. All of my hormone oils. So I use Progessence oil. I use either Lady Sclerol or Clary Sage. I use Myrtle for my thyroid. I just use all my favorite oils, patchouli. And I think it's a combination of those oils, and the progesterone oil in particular is really relaxing. So when you get enough progesterone in your body, it's really relaxing. The Epsom salt, the heat, like there's something about that just like signals my body, okay, this is it. It's time to relax. It really has helped. So something like that, if you have trouble, it could be like a signal to your body. I also use bioidentical hormones. So you girls aren't here yet, but I think that we have been sort of, and I'm really careful. I don't want to take synthetic hormones. When you're talking about bioidentical hormones, ladies, go get your hormones checked. You need to know. Mm-hmm. If you don't have enough progesterone, you will not sleep well. So I use a bioidentical progesterone cream in addition to the Progessence that I use. And I feel like just that adequate amount of progesterone really helps you relax, really helps you sleep. One of the questions I used to always ask my patients when I was practicing medicine in relation to hormones is, when they were taking progesterone, are you sleeping and how's your sex drive? Those two questions will tell you if you have enough progesterone. So for sure, if you're in the perimenopause age and you're not sleeping well, you probably don't have enough progesterone, and it's definitely worth supplementing there to help with sleep. The other thing that I do that I think most people should do is make it really cold in the room.
Come on. I don't know how people are sleeping in a hot, musty room. Okay, that is different. Well, okay, I used to really could sleep. That's what I'm saying, though. In college and even before, like, it did not matter the conditions. Like, it did not matter. I was going to go to sleep. Now I'm like
Princess in the Pea. I need it to be 67
Katie
degrees.
was saying, like, I don't understand how you sleep in a sweatshirt and pants. Because I really could sleep in anything. It did not matter. If I was tired, I'm not changing. Like, I am wearing the sweatshirt and pants that I was wearing, not like jeans. I'm not psychotic, but like sweatpants or whatever. I will say now, though, like as it's gotten harder for me to sleep, I can't sleep in a sweatshirt and pants. Like even if I'm not even that hot, I will take it off because I need to be like feeling like the blankets are keeping me warm because I like to feel covered in like that weight. And if I'm hot, then I don't want the blankets. So I have changed a little bit. I'm not crazy, but I used to really, like, it did not matter.
I'm the same way, though. I want, like, heavy down comforter on me. So it's got to be cold enough in the
that
room
I can cover
so that I
up.
can cover up with my heavy, likely somewhat weighted blanket. That really, really helps me sleep. And I think blackout curtains, you know, make it dark in there. Like, don't have a bunch of flickering lights and all that. So I have blackout curtains in most of our bedrooms here. Of course, we have the bunk room, which has no windows. So that room feels like you're literally sleeping in a tomb.
That you will go in there and you need to be careful if you're sleeping in a room with no windows, because I
You will
am
not wake up.
I'm a person who I'm a very light sleeper, especially in the morning hours. Like if I hear one noise, I'll be awake, but I am usually going to wake up around a certain time naturally, like 8.
Yeah.
In there, I would not know what time it was. I could probably sleep till like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Crazy.
that's crazy for me.
Yeah. Yeah, so dark room. And the other thing that I think you should put some time and attention into is just making your bedroom feel like a sanctuary. Essential oils, like have your diffuser by your bed. We have this new diffuser out now, which basically you can program, and it has a morning setting and a night setting. So you can have it like do 2 or 3 hours of your nighttime oils. And then in the morning you program it to do, you know, a couple hours of your morning oils or whatever. But like that feeling of it being spa-like, of it being a sanctuary. I like satin pillowcases, really comfortable, you know, blankets and pillows. Like it is worth investing in, because think about how much time you're spending in this
It's literally
place.
half your life.
It's literally it's definitely a third of your life that you're
Almost
spending there. And yeah, it's just so worth making it a good place. It's funny because every hotel I go to, the first thing I'm doing is feeling of what's this bed feel like?
She's made me so
What are these pillows?
like spoiled in the way of pillows, because you've always had down pillows,
Yeah.
which they are annoying. I will say, it actually makes me so annoyed, the feathers that come out of them. 'Cause it'll like poke you in the head.
It's
but they
fine.
are so much better, like, to sleep with.
Yeah, so much more comfortable.
But I was gonna say that I ordered the Young Living, I don't know what it's called, the Morning Luna Mist.
Oh, the Luna Mist?
No.
Oh, aroma essence or something.
I don't
like
know.
that.
It's the one that's like an alarm and
Yes,
all
the
of
one
it
I was
in
talking
one.
about. Yeah.
The one you were talking about.
Yeah.
But it like has settings where it has like to replicate the sun going up and down.
Yeah.
Like it has setting before you go to bed. It like plays this nice whatever, and the colors
Are the
dark
colors of the evening.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it is really cool.
it's cool.
Yeah, and so since I have been doing all of those things, it has made a huge difference. And we're going to talk about our 3 things actually are going to be on the supplements that we like to take during, you know, for bedtime. So I'll talk about those too. But I think getting this routine in order is kind of what really preps your body and kind of tells your body, okay, it's time to you know, wind down, time for bed. And it has really made a huge difference.
I heard this because this also really affects your sleep. Even if you can fall asleep, it really affects the quality of your sleep. If you have caffeine after 1 or 2 p.m., the caffeine will stay in your system. And it depends on the milligrams that you have, but really,
I think it takes like 8 to 10 hours.
it does. And so it won't be fully out of your body.
Yeah.
You might fall asleep fine, but
Yeah.
the quality of your sleep, like your heart rate and all
Yeah.
of those things that really matter about like getting into deep sleep,
Yeah.
it really affects that. So having caffeine after 2 p.m. really, even, you know, like most people, by the end of the day, it's not like it would keep you up.
Right.
But it really still affects the quality of your sleep if you have it after a certain period of time.
Yeah. No, I agree. I have gotten to the point now where literally I have my cup of coffee in the morning.
Most people, especially like when I was working at an office, like,
You're drinking it all day.
oh,
I mean, we used to
I
in the
definitely
hospital.
would be drinking it after. I would have a cup of coffee after 2
Yeah.
because to get me
To
through
get
the
through the
rest
day.
the rest of the day. But most people do.
Yeah, yeah. So careful with that. Okay, so let's kind of transition into our favorites today, our 3 things, and kind of talk about supplements or whatever related to sleep that we love?
Well, I'm probably just going to be combined with yours because I actually have never really been a supplement taker before bed.
Okay.
I usually get them. I take supplements in the day and then I would usually forget. And like I said, I've really not had a lot of issues sleeping in the past, so I would always have like melatonin on hand, but I wouldn't need it every night. But I never really loved melatonin because for me, I'm pretty sensitive, I think, to stuff like that. Like, it would really help me sleep. But what I found with melatonin is, first of all, it would help me fall asleep, but then I would wake up like a few hours later and then have trouble falling back asleep in the middle of the night. And then also I always feel so groggy when I wake up in the morning, and I hate that feeling. So I just usually wouldn't take it. But that brings me to now
our new favorite
supplement is Young Living at the convention dropped a new sleep supplement. It's called Deep Sleep Essence, and they went into all the science of like what's in it, but it has no melatonin.
Right.
And I really like that because I just don't really
I was super skeptical, you guys, because I have taken melatonin for several years. I actually worked with a hormone doctor a couple of years ago who recommended high dose melatonin for other things. That there's some really good benefits. And so I've been taking it for a good while, and it has helped me sleep so much. So I was very skeptical.
Like, how could there be a supplement with no melatonin that's actually going to help me sleep?
Yeah. And so I have had, I think, 2 weeks with it now, maybe 2.5 weeks with it now. I absolutely love it. And the girls have been using it. What do you think, Em?
Well, so I used it a couple weeks ago because my roommate Kylina has it, and I did order it, but my order, there's a whole story, it didn't come in. But I was kind of skeptical too, because but the thing I don't like about melatonin is exactly what the deep sleep is supposed to do. Like, I would say for me, it doesn't really necessarily help me fall asleep.
Okay.
Like,
it
doesn't make me like, oh, I took that 30 minutes ago and I need to get in bed. But once I go to sleep, like, I fall asleep really fast, and then the last couple of nights that I've taken it, I can like on my Oura ring it shows me did not wake up one single time throughout the night. And that is crazy because I don't know if that's ever, even my best sleeps on my Oura ring, like, it'll show little tiny spurts where you just maybe moved or woke up. Like, I don't even remember waking up. Not one.
Wow.
In the 2 nights that I took it here.
Interesting.
So I don't know if that's like,
and I take 2. I think is the recommended dose 2.
2 of
it's
that.
It's called
and
Deep Night Essence, but
one.
I am loving it. This is the first time consistently that I haven't needed melatonin.
Well,
now I take a couple other things with it, which I'll tell you in a minute. But yeah, I've been taking 2 and have loved it.
For a person who never took melatonin, I guess I can't really speak in your way where it's like I literally been taking melatonin every night. But also, I don't wake up groggy either. And that, to me, sign me up. I do not like waking up feeling like I need to, because I already struggle. It's already hard to wake up. Like, no one wants to wake up and get out of bed, for me personally. And so, to be groggy on top of that, no, I do not want that. So, I am a fan.
I love it too. The other thing that I have taken for years at night is magnesium, and I have rotated through multiple different brands and versions. We've linked to other versions of magnesium before, so you can go back to different podcasts. I think on our supplements podcast, I talked about the magnesium that I was taking then. I actually... If you look through my house, you'll find every version of magnesium.
There's every single type.
There's every version you could ever want. Because I am a person, and I think it's people who tend to be higher stressed. I think there's some research about how you metabolize magnesium, and I must just use it up because no, I have supplemented with magnesium for as long as I can remember, and every time I have it checked, it's always low, like low normal or even low. But last time it was kind of like in the normal range, but low. I'm like, how can that be? I'm taking
I'm taking
so much magnesium. So, anyways, we also got a new version of that, a new Young Living magnesium called Super Magnesium, and I have been trying that for a couple of weeks. Also loving that, taking 3 of those at night with my 2 Deep Night Essence, and it seems to have just, the same amazing benefits, relaxing, helping me sleep.
I have taken it both times with the magnesium.
Kind of
so I guess I have not taken the Deep Sleep Essence without
the magnesium.
The magnesium with it.
Yeah.
But
and magnesium is involved in so many of your body's, reactions. I think over 300 reactions in the body you need magnesium for, and for so many women we're low in it, and it's kind of an anti-stress supplement. So no matter what brand you try, you probably need magnesium, and you probably need more than you're taking. So I am a huge advocate of finding a brand that works for you, that's absorbed well, that you can tell is working. And when I don't have my magnesium, I can tell. I just am not as relaxed. I'm a little more stressed. Like, I can just tell if I go, a couple of days, like I was traveling. When was I traveling where when I first got there, I didn't have it, had to order it. Anyways, I can tell when I'm not taking it. So definitely, if you're not supplementing with magnesium, you might really need it.
Yeah, I need to be better about having that regularly, because I've been definitely something in the next stage of my life. I really want to regulate my stress, because another thing that Oura Ring shows you is, like, throughout a day, your stress levels just in your body. It's not like necessarily times I've actually
that you feel it or know it.
No, yeah. But it just affects you so much, and your sleep is correlated to that for sure. Yeah. But I need to get on a magnesium supplement that I have a few, but I just forget to take them.
Take it, yeah. And then the other thing that I guess number 3 would be, if you have a diffuser, just make sure you do that. There's so much good research since COVID, because people were losing their sense of smell and their sense of taste. And there was this amazing amount of research that's been done since then on the power of sense of smell. And even if you're not doing it to, like, for me, I love having diffusers because I love the smell it gives. But there's so many other benefits, brain benefits, health benefits, stress, anti-stress benefits of diffusing. And so, if you're not doing that at night, trying oils that help you relax, cedarwood, valor. Some people like peace and calming, lavender. There's lots of good ones that are kind of relaxing.
Gosh, I could not do it without peace and calming.
Yeah.
I love it.
Katie loves that one too. My Katie. So that's what we have about sleep. Anything else you got, Miss M?
No, I mean, I definitely want to prioritize it better. I think everyone could say the same. I do think I have found a big difference in, like, wanting rest versus sleep. Like, I think challenging myself to be more active during a day so that I actually want to sleep, and not resting during the day because I'm tired. I think, like, you really have to be mindful of how you're spending your day, because it does just correlate to when you want to fall asleep, how late you stay up, like, the quality of your sleep. And it's not just like, oh, I'm ready for bed. Like, you have to.
Yeah. I want to say one more thing before we finish on that, because this has really helped me too, is I have a couple of favorite meditations that I love to listen to as I'm falling asleep and kind of as I'm waking up. And when we talk a ton on this podcast about mindset, renewing your mind, and laying down new tracks so that you can think a different way and experience your life in a different way. And one of the ways that I know has 10x'd, jump-started, helped me do this so much faster than I could have is listening to either really inspirational podcasts or a meditation or, a guided prayer or something before bed and as you wake up. Because when your brain is in that state of going to sleep and just waking up, it's very much able to take in what you're
Yes.
listening to and kind of assimilate that into, what becomes then the running background of what you think about and how you think. So if you haven't been doing that, I highly recommend it. I have an app called Brain Tap, which I love. And there's a meditation on there called Ask, Believe, and Receive. And
It's
I
your fave.
love that meditation. I've listened to it thousands of times.
I know. I don't know why I don't listen to it, because seeing like what your life looks like, obviously something is working, and you've been doing that same meditation, for years.
For years, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So
I love it. So, anyways, well, we hope you have a great rest of your day, and we hope you sleep good tonight.
sleep so good tonight,
and every other
girlies.
night, y'all.
Yes, we love you.
Love you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy.